I think this thing is on, which means we are recording. So, without further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, my petals, and welcome back to another episode of the Roze Garden. I am your host, Tabula Roza, aka La Rosa Negra, or Black Rose if you're nasty. And I elected not to record episodes over the past 2 weeks because each Friday was a pinnacle holiday, and I wanted you all to enjoy them to the best of your capacity. Like Christmas, we're in the middle of a parabola, and quite frankly, some of us couldn't be with our families, and for those of us who could, I just wanted all y'all to be able to hold on. And as much as I might provide some sense of comedic joy, I needed you to get all of that like wholesome love. And with all the love that I can generate behind this mic, I don't know if I can truly provide the hug that you really needed. And so I wanted you to seek it out and get it where you could. Do I have slight regrets? Slightly. But it was the decision I made at the time, and I apologize if that decision is not something you agreed with. But I hope you are now in this new year with a clean heart, a clean mind, set intentions and goals. And I do not mean New Year's resolutions, because we all know those do not work. And for those of you that actually do complete your New Year's resolutions, know you are a diamond in the rough. Like a hidden gem. And we see you shining. So go ahead and do your thing. But for normal people, no one does New Year's resolutions. And I spent my New Year's trying to set intention to properly manifest what I wanted from this year. And so now that we've made it, I'm recording the first official episode in the new year, titled after one of my nicknames, actually, Tabula Roza, or a play on the Latin phrase that means blank slate. This is all about the new year because I truly feel that 2021 is going to be a good year for me. And I say this knowing that there's already been some fuck shit that just happened. That does not concern me. Me or my people. We are going to mind the business that tends to us. And that's white people shit. That y'all got to deal with that. Because apparently this country ain't for us, ain't been for us, and now this is a conversation that y'all got to have amongst yourselves about whose country it is, because clearly y'all have some sort of internal warfare. This Civil War ain't got shit to do with me. It don't, and it don't. That's been said. This is all about the new year because I feel that 2021 is going to be a good year for me. And I said that before, it needed to be said again. I'm doing what makes me happy, what keeps me healthy, and investing in myself in ways that make me wealthy in more ways than one. I'm talking spiritual wealth, emotional wealth, financial wealth, and dare I say physical health too. And no, this isn't me devoting to be conventionally healthy, as though that implies skinniness and whiteness and what? My ideal body shape has never been skinny. Like, assuming I do lose weight and get to the body I want, because I do have an ideal figure in mind, it will never be skinny, which means the world will never be happy with my size, but I will be. And whiteness is not something I will ever aspire to be, because it's not a reality that I know. It's not a reality I want to know. It's not a reality that I'm trying to know. White people at this point, or at least good-hearted white people, don't even want to be white at this point. They want to be spicy white. They want to be beige. They want to be anything but white. I heard somebody on TikTok the other day refer to white people as a person of non-color. Or rather, one of those people who happen to be white as a person of non-color. That shit was hilarious. Oh, shit. Anyways, in regards to 2020, I know it was difficult for all of us. Trust me, I understand. However, in terms of myself, I asked for something new, and the universe was like, you gotta be more specific next time, baby, because I received that in more ways than one. On the positive side, I got new experiences in traveling. I got to see new friends like in person, because I made so many online friends, but I got to actively hug them and touch them and love on them the way I wanted to forever. I got to do different things performance wise, because I got to speak during a rally and provide some of my spoken word pieces. I got to perform some of my art at a black gala. It was student run, but still, it was an actual monumental piece. I got to experience authentic happiness and like boredom, which is something I actually wasn't familiar with for a while. But then, almost as if a switch flipped in the world. On the negative side, I got to experience a pandemic and have both unprecedented and lived historical moments that I wish I didn't have to. Unprecedented because we've got different things that have happened this year. Last year, that had never been done before, and yet still somehow we hit a time warp, and it was worse now because we have technology. So we had all these different indignities and atrocities happening actively in real time, and oversaturated, I might add, because it's happening from different people's phones and different people's perspectives, and we're seeing it all happen right in front of us from our homes, where at least like in the old days, it doesn't make it much better, but at least you could see it on the news or hear about it the next day or read about it in the paper or something. Having to watch people get gunned down and gassed and beaten and harassed and kidnapped, even because there were people that were being snatched into vans that still have not been found. Watching all this stuff happen in real time was heartbreaking. And then on top of that, having to bottle all that shit up for the sake of saving corporate face, and then trying to make sure I don't say anything within my workplace that makes me seem too radical, because I realize my position as the only black person on the staff. And then I didn't want to seem too radical or too opinionated. And then I doubt my boss listens to this. However, also knowing that I'm sorry if I'm airing out my own laundry, but this is about me, not like the grand scheme of things. Finding out that my boss was a Republican, very much, I guess I understand for the sake of his business, but in terms of like what's going on in the world and my mental health and peace, it was a little unsettling, because it always made me question on whether or not I was just expendable to him, or if he actively saw me as a person and was just a part of his business that he was trying to maintain, or where I fell along this line. And so all that was going on, and it was trauma and depression and anxiety and hopelessness and a sense of conservation that went out the window, all compiled on top of an administration that just wasn't cut out for this job and didn't care if they were. I refuse to let anything make me feel like that again. So instead, in 2021, I've chosen me. And I'm starting with the tools I've been given. I've heard, and all the ones that I've heard but refused to listen to. And this isn't a promise to be 100% tuned into what's been said, because one, not everything said is worth listening to, but I am making enough to acknowledge and sift through all the information I've been given and pick out what's been useful and actively apply it to myself. Because, for starters, I have been struggling unnecessarily in my academic career in this, and I've been, actively wrote a poem about this that'll be coming soon, so brace yourselves. But I've been struggling academically with this whole image of black excellence instead of just being excellent, because for some reason this whole movement of black excellence has got everyone bamboozled and fooled into thinking that they can't ask for help, which is incredibly stupid. Like, we're spending so much time trying to put on this face and facade for white people and for the world that we're actively struggling, digging holes in our soul, in our minds, in our spirits, and everything. To what? To flex? To flaunt our black magic and power? It's not powerful, because at the end of the day, again, instead of actually being great, we're choosing to try and look great. And you can only look great for so long, because when the curtains fall and everything behind that curtain is pulled to be a disaster, you are going to be an even larger laughingstock than you were before. So what good did that big ass facade that you were keeping up prior to that do for you? It meant nothing. So what I'm doing now is I'm devoting time to at least asking for help. And I can't say I'm going to ask for help all the way around, because I've gotten so used to being independent and self-sufficient, and I don't know if I can give that up. I don't know if I will give that up. I don't know if I want to give that up, because I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to have to depend on people and have to work around their time schedules at that point either. If I know I didn't do something on time, at least I know I didn't do something on time. It fell on me. If I know I didn't do something on time because I had to wait for somebody else, I would probably get damn near homicidal, because I do not like the fact that having to depend on someone. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And it's probably a stupid thing. It comes with not wanting to be vulnerable. I get it. But I'm trying. And I'm going to do the work towards trying it. I'm also going to use, because I did this intentionally during my Intro to African American Studies class last semester. I did a presentation on Black mental health, actually. And seeking therapy and whatnot. And most Black people don't seek it out because they've had bad experiences, can't afford it, both, or just don't know where to seek out these resources. I am only in the first one because technically, I can't afford it, but I have the resource allotted to me through the university. However, I've had several bad experiences through the university, and I had an okay experience growing up with therapy. A lot of the counselors and stuff I had growing up ended up being really, really great friends, but I also realized I didn't seek out or use the service as well as I could. I instead manipulated the service to be a hangout session, because I did not want to actively do the work to get vulnerable and potentially get better. Because I did, this was high school and middle school that we were talking about, so being vulnerable during that time was already asking too much of me. But also, it was also a time when I could actively say anything, and it was my world. I could lie, honestly. I could lie and they would believe me, and that would just be the real. I could... What's the word? I could tell them I was okay and they would be happy about it. I could make up any kind of issues and they would feel as though they were doing their jobs. It was a win-win situation. And on top of that, there were certain perks that came with not having to be in class, because as much as I may have been missing class, I didn't miss much on those days, because going once a week to those sessions was way better than having to sit in class and feel like a bad student because I was not being engaged or stimulated, or when I was being engaged or stimulated, I was being stifled because I couldn't get any of my thoughts out or ideas, because I constantly had to compete with other classmates or feel like I needed to either sound smart because I had built this reputation of being this intelligent kid, or joke my way out of it if I either didn't know or didn't want to participate, because it was much easier to make everyone laugh about it or do something embarrassing than have to get sidelined. Because for some reason we got this embarrassing, this foolish notion that not being the center of the spotlight at all times, especially in high school, as embarrassment. And like I said, apparently intelligence was supposed to be my glow, so we're starting with simple things. And I found that, especially with talking about asking for help, something so simple is what made it so difficult, because it's always the easiest things that you think you don't need help with doing, like finding the motivation to, even dare I say, because I fell into a depressive stupor, getting out of bed in the morning. Getting out of the bed to go and shower, brush your teeth, manage your hair. I got my hair appointments and stuff done, but I got my hair done all to just come home and look cute and take a couple pictures and do my makeup and stuff. And then within a week or so, Stop putting on my bonnet. Stop putting on my scarf. Stop tying up my hair. I would drink and be social to try and like avoid my pain and problems, but come home, realize that I still had all those problems, and all of them hit me as soon as I get home, and call myself relaxing from all the social energy because I'm already exhausted because my social battery had been burned out. And then get hugged by my depression as soon as I sat down, as soon as I hit that bed or whatever happens, and now having to like wash brown makeup out of white pillows because it just don't look right. Yes, if you're imagining it, that's exactly the visual that you should be imagining. My pillows look like they have shit stains on them, all because I refused to take off my face after a party. I'm not saying it was stupid. I'm saying it was abso-fucking-lutely stupid. But I'm not going to promise that it's going to be done 100% of the time, but I've committed to making sure that I do better. I absolutely have committed to making sure I do better for myself. I also tore up one of my pillows in the process, so I might just throw all these away and get new pillows. But making sure that I don't stain those pillows or fuck those up starts with simple things, with like being able to ask for help. And I don't mean asking for help with like, can you bring me my makeup wipes? Although that is technically still asking for help. Or asking for assistance so that I don't feel so stressed out and then like contribute to my own deteriorating mental health. These are the types of things when I say asking for help. Slowly integrating all of them. Among other things, like saying no as well. That's something I'm trying to, well, I mean, not necessarily saying no because I've gotten used to saying no. It's standing on my no because in the end I'm going to be okay. Prime example, I spent a lot of this time in the past 6 months prioritizing a job that cares and doesn't, as I'm a disposable and renewable resource. Like, I'm there helping them make money and whatnot, but realistically, I could drop dead tomorrow. They'd be like, oh, that's sad, and then find my replacement within a few days. And it would have been sad, but the world's got to keep spinning. And knowing that is the way the world is, I instead am choosing to make sure that I make the best of my time. And if I'm on my time with my schedule and it's interfering with my schooling, like I spent so much time giving in last semester. I skipped so many days of class because there was errors in my scheduling. And I get that mistakes happen, but mistakes happen once or twice. And then after I physically provide my schedule, the mistakes that are happening are now not on my side, but on yours. And it feels like there's no interest in trying to correct those mistakes despite what I've said. And then rather than just working around the schedule that I'd been given. And I guess it's not just a matter of all me. I get that there was not even a bunch of people, because there's only a few of us on staff, but I get that there were, trying to schedule and staff all of us may have been difficult in the grand scheme of things, but it just felt like there was no concern for trying to even get it right, because there were some weeks when my schedule worked out perfectly, and then some weeks when it just didn't. And usually when it just doesn't, it's because like there's a change in who was writing the schedule, and so what was once the scheduled routine is now being broken because someone else is doing the routine, and there was no conversation between the two of them what's going on, and no reference to what was going on prior. It was just these are the days. I think we need coverage. I think I did this right. And then there's usually some sort of mistake that happens. And again, rather than sticking on my no and saying, I can't do it, it becomes, I'll do it this once, but can we make sure this doesn't happen again? And if you give in once, they'll do it again. And that seems to be the repeated section. So I'm going to stand on the fact that I'm going to be okay, especially as a financial aid student. I'm going to be proactive in making sure that I talk to financial aid and make sure all of my ducks are in a row this semester, because that was absolutely fucking annoying last semester, having to deal with financial aid and trying to make sure that everything was in order, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Like, right now I'm on a whole COVID break. Like, active, there was COVID in the house, I got tested, positives and negatives and uncertainty and all of it just completely all like in the air and uncertain and incredibly like taxing, and I wasn't feeling well anyway, so whether it wasn't COVID or not, I needed to take a break, all because I manifested wrong. And I was spent all of last semester begging God and the universe for a break and peace and rest and for everything to just stop, because everything was spinning out of control and I couldn't take it, both as a control freak and as someone who is intersectionally oppressed and stressed out by everything in the world. Like, it got to a point last semester where I didn't want to leave my house unless I absolutely had to, and the only reason I had to was work, and even still I thought about quitting that job for the sake of my sanity. I couldn't afford to, so I kept working. But I really did think about it for a whole section of time, and God knows I still exist in a sort of space of like, fuck that job, but also I don't want to like bring the team down unnecessarily. So at least if I'm like gonna leave a job, I want to put in a 2 weeks notice to give the job time to prepare, make sure it looks good on my resume, because I don't want to burn any bridges, because if you just walk off a job, that's forever and always gonna be a bad ref. And so many other things like come with like being unprofessional and walking off your job and stuff. But I spent like all that time weighed down by the world and the events of the summer and having to bottle it up and pretend I wasn't fine, and exhausted between school and work that I had just started at the end of July. Financial aid causing me to be behind in my classes because I didn't have books and supplies that I needed, and so I started like all this money that I had begun using to get myself into a comfortable space before the semester began, knowing that I was going to have financial aid, and then combined with my financial aid I could pay my bills off and make sure I still had a comfortable amount of money to make sure that I felt safe. Excuse me. I spent the beginning of that semester, and I want to say it was like the first 3 weeks, trying to figure out between bills and food or school, and coupled with the lack of motivation to even do school or go to work. But one gave me immediate gratification and the satisfaction of knowing I could maintain the roof over my head. And as someone who's been homeless twice now, and who has a brain that sees doomsday the minute anything goes wrong in their life, it was a feeling that I could never truly articulate, but going to work put me in this weird like primal psychosis and like survival mode. And now that I'm rested and out of that space where I can think long enough to build a plan that's not driven by mania, and like think of things with myself in mind in the beginning, instead of realizing that I'm the keystone to this arch and that everything will collapse if there's no me after the fact, or while things are already like going wrong. Like, there's nothing wrong than realizing you're a keystone in the middle of an earthquake, trying to hold everything together. I made it and held everything together, but damn it, everything got rocky, and it got to a point where some things almost collapsed. But we're here now, and now that I'm in this space, I'm choosing me. So in 2021, like we all did when that treasonous dumbassery took place at the Capitol, when this insurrection and all the white supremacists decided to go up and hang a noose, I might add, because they decided to bring racism into this. And they like a couple people are swearing, it's not about you black people, get the race out of this conversation and get out of your feelings. First of all, nooses have been a constant symbol, especially even still, because there were people that were mysteriously hung, or excuse me, committing suicide in public spaces, near significant public spaces, I might add, that just didn't add up. So excuse us if we're a little weary of nooses. But on top of that, like, there was a whole, again, insurrection at the Capitol where white supremacists, solely because Trump didn't win, decided to go and try and shake shit up at the Capitol to get the desired effect. There was a planned kidnapping. There was a coup d'etat. There was a debauchery of this capital of the entire country. People came from all across the country to do this foolery. Someone smeared shit stains on the walls of the Capitol. First of all, the fuck? Like, what? What on earth would possess you to not only be rooting in shit, but root in shit and then take it across these walls that you claim to hold so sacred as a proud American? Huh? Make it make sense, because 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. And 5 + 5 is 10. What the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry, that's not funny. There were people leaking sensitive government information, which I don't... Like, I think it's sensitive, but I don't think it was super sensitive, because if it was that sensitive, I don't think it would have been available on display. But then again, this is also the Capitol, so I might be wrong. And I pray this country is safe, because I will leave. I will find a boat. I will learn to float. Whatever I gotta do, I will leave them here. Canada, believe me when I tell you, I will crawl across that border if I have to. Canada or even Mexico. I am leaving. When shit hits the fan, I will be stepping out of the way. I am not getting splattered with this shit. I'm gonna do like all of us black people did when all that shit happened at the Capitol. I'm gonna mind my black business, and if it doesn't feel good or benefit me in some long-term way, I'm not doing it. That being said, let's go ahead and pick some petals. Now, let's go ahead and look through these questions. The first question being in reference to manifesting. That's actually a really good question. How do you set intentions so that you don't get adverse consequences? I'm no pro at manifestation. Neither is B. Simone, but that was too soon. I'm sorry. I find that for me, I think of manifestation sort of like wishing from a genie. You want to make sure that you're asking for exactly what you want and that you've thought out any potential way this can go bad so that you can avoid that like the plague. Like, for example, I spent all that time praying for rest and restoration and pause and like escape and everything last semester, and the COVID scare happened. Not exactly what I would have done for myself, but where am I? Sitting my ass at home, in place, resting, rejuvenating, recuperating, getting my health and sanity and everything in order, and able to even take this time and at some point talk to financial aid, talk to my leasing office and all the different things, figure out my life, and then after figuring out my life, decide what I'm gonna do before everything feels like a disaster. I have time to at least give myself a contingency plan so that if I do get caught up between school and work, I have enough money saved up. I've got some sort of resource to my disposal. I've thought all these different things through so that I can make sure that I am doing what is best for me. I'm also making sure, like, I am devoted to the concept of getting a car. Now, do I have a license? No. However, also, I refuse to drive someone else's car because I know that if, like, I don't anticipate fucking up someone's car. Realistically, I'm not going to, because the anxiety of the fact that I don't have the money would constantly be a reminder in my mind. But I know that if something were to happen, because life happens 24/7, no norms, I can't afford to pay out of pocket and cover those expenses. I know that with all of my being. And on top of not being able to afford to cover those expenses, I kind of don't want to. Because having to cover those expenses means I am now putting myself back into this hole where I am dependent on my job. I'm dependent on financial aid. And I want to get to a space where I can at least be comfortable instead of living paycheck to paycheck and aid check to aid check. That also comes with making sure I get my GPA in order, because I'm academic probation right now. Does not mean that, like, I am, like I said, academic probation. I lost my whole train of thought. Sorry about that. I'm on academic probation right now. Means that I have to get to this 2.0 stance to make sure that I can avoid the stress of having to worry about whether or not I'm going to get financial aid, and if my financial aid is secure. Right now, I'm having to constantly do this dance of do the semester, do the semester, do the semester. Oh yeah. And it's semester by semester, and it makes everything uncertain about my college career rather than just being able to be a college student and worry about success. I'm having to constantly spend every waking moment of my college career running from a boulder, and I'm running down a hill. And I can only run so fast, but the boulder's gaining momentum as it goes down, and it's much bigger than I am. And so in hopes of not getting crushed, I'm just hoping to both run out of the way of the boulder and hopefully get, like, if I can outrun the boulder, that's great. If I can just sidestep the boulder entirely, that's even better. Because, like, I don't want the boulder to crash somewhere else, but I realize the boulder's going to go down its path one way or another. If I can get out of the way of the boulder in advance, that is a beautiful thing. Then if I outrun it, that's beautiful too. But I'd rather not have to run any longer than I have to. So instead, I'm choosing to manifest things like, actually no, I can go over a manifestation I had for the semester. I'm manifesting a semester where I can actively seek out the resources I need in a timely fashion so that I do not have to stress myself out. That is a very specific and very simple manifestation. It's exactly what I want. I want to be able to get the help I need from tutoring, from the writing center, because I know I'm taking English this semester. So above all else, if I don't need it in another class, I know I'm going to need it for English. I'm taking English this semester. I'm going to need the writing center. I might need tutoring for one of my classes or another. I might need to talk to a couple of my peers, which is going to be uncomfortable, goddammit, because I am antisocial. Like, this is a beautiful thing, being able to record from my house behind these four walls where I am the safest I have ever felt, with the sun beaming in on my warm skin. I'm feeling comfortable. I'm feeling right. I'm feeling good in myself. This works for me. Having to come out of that shell, hard, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I'm going to make sure that I take care of myself in timely fashion. And it's important that you know, in manifesting things and setting intentions, you have to work. Yes, this is a job. Your life is a job. Even, like, what you gonna get from the universe if you don't pour nothing into it? Wanting to be a millionaire but sitting at home scratching your ass, there's nothing there to work with. Now, if you're going to work every day and, like, it's a bad way to go about it, but if you're playing the lottery and you're going to work every day and everything, your chances of becoming a millionaire have automatically doubled, maybe even more, solely because there's something there to potentially give the universe something to bounce off of. Alternately, you don't give the universe room to, like, bite you in the ass too, because, like I said, in the same scenario, if you're sitting at home scratching your ass but wishing to be a millionaire, I think the best thing you could hope for, and it's a terrible thing to wish on anybody, is that you have a family member that wrote you into their will or made you their beneficiary and they die and you get that insurance check. It's terrible, because now you've got to deal with the fact that this death is on your hands, and the only reason you're a millionaire now is because someone died. That ain't what you want for yourself. I would hope. I mean, I know I wouldn't. I'd rather know that I became a millionaire, at least in my, like, I don't want to be a millionaire necessarily. I just, like I said, I want to make sure that I am wealthy in more ways than one. Mentally, spiritually, financially, hopefully, because that is a beautiful thing, to be financially wealthy. Making sure I am mentally, spiritually, financially, and physically healthy. Those are the things, healthy and wealthy. Those are the things that I'm wishing for. And I'm investing in my own creative endeavors because I know that I want to be wealthy within that space. Because I hate the fact that I have a boss. I do it because this 9 to 5 thing, it's what I have at my disposal right now. I'm a college student, which means I currently don't have a degree, but it's a degree in progress. So I'm working on my creative endeavors. I'm honing my own skills and crafts. I'm investing in myself to make sure that I'm healthy and fortified so that no one can walk all over me. I'm doing the work within myself so that if I do happen to become a millionaire, say this year, or if not this year, then the next year, or sometime in the near future, I know that they've got something to work with, and this was the best outcome, or one of the more positive outcomes. Beautiful things are rising for me. Beautiful things are gonna rise for me because I'm putting in this effort and this motivation. And I get how this can sound like wishful thinking and like mantra building and all that shit. Maybe it does. Maybe that's what it is for you. But it works for me. Setting intentions and manifestations works for me because I've seen things come manifest. I was raised very spiritual. I was raised in the church, constantly believing that life and death lie in the power of the tongue. And this is a very, very powerful tongue right here. Because clearly y'all want to listen to it. And I don't say that on some arrogant shit. I mean, you're here. You're listening to me. Honestly, I think that one question was good enough because I feel like that's a good summary of both what I want from this new year, or what I think a lot of us should want from this new year, as well as the best way to go about it in terms of ourselves. Make sure you're in a good mind space, so do what it takes to make sure you preserve you, manifest and set intentions, and do the work to make sure that you can meet those manifestations and set intentions. As for plugging new roots, I'm gonna go for another song, the same song from last week, because it's absolutely critical. It's very, very important. It's very, very it's really good to my soul. Be Okay by Samo. I can't explain the way this has been getting me through. The second one is gonna be Good Days by SZA, cause sometimes you just need a good old wavy bop to get you through, and make sure that you just Lil Kim rock your way through life. Every time I hear Good Days, I just imagine myself carrying through the breeze. I don't skateboard no more. I want to get a new skateboard because I've been asking my mom for my old one, but also it's buried somewhere in storage and I don't want to dig through that bitch, so not gonna happen anytime soon. So I'll likely just have to buy a new one and break that bitch in. Yeah. But it's the type of song that I can just cruise to. And I'd rather cruise through life than be consistently stressed about things or having to spend so much time running, like I said, from a boulder or from anything. The third one is gonna be the Feel Good song by Solange, because damn it, I don't know what part of the, or if I'm paraphrasing or got the lyrics wrong, whatever it is, but ain't nothing wrong with wanting to feel good, damn it. And why start off this year negatively? Don't make no damn sense to be negative. This one's the twofer, and this is both inspired by something I heard during the track by track commentary on Spotify of the album The Kids Are Alright by Chloe and Halle. So it's the song Everywhere / Rich Girl Mood by Dooney, I think her name is, and Kaylani. Chloe and Halle wrote Everywhere, but basically the fact that they made that song manifesting what they wanted from the world. And if you consistently repeat that you've got money everywhere, it's bound to come to you. So if you're looking for, like I said, in my manifestations, financial wealth, Something about just being able to manifest that you're in a rich girl mood. You got money everywhere and you're consistently repeating this mantra over and over. At some point it's bound to come to you because you keep putting it into the universe, you keep drawing it towards you. And honestly, the last song I'm gonna go with is Good Morning Tokyo. Not because it's anything relevant to this time, but because you deserve, like I said, a moment to just be happy and start out this new year great. And it's a very, very playful song that you can just, like, get all of your feelings to. It's goofy. It's, like, screamo as well. So if you need to have a screaming match, you can do that. And it's very, very simple. Like, well, not simple because it does have really, really fast moments in the song. But, like, it's simple in terms of, like, its complete application, because it's not meant to be anything that you just analyze or try and have to, like, feel super deep about or all in your feels. You just hear the song. And I mean, also you can take the mantra to heart too, because if you don't like me, kill me right now, otherwise pipe down. Although I'm not gonna recant it because I enjoy the song, but also that might not be the best thing. Like, if you want to substitute a different song for that fifth selection, I understand you, because given the way everything's been going, that. But for turning a new leaf, I think my advice right now would be, what haven't I said? My advice would be, check in on your friends. Make sure that although you're making sure that you're good, make sure that they're going to be good too. Make sure that you maybe share this message with them and inspire them to manifest what they want from the universe and the world. And that you will truly be okay altogether. Because, again, part of my manifestations is also advice to you guys. Asking for help and depending on your support group so that you can get the help you need is... it's priceless. That's the only word I can use to describe it. It's truly priceless, because it's a beautiful thing to be able to have people that you can count on. It's a beautiful thing to have people that you can cry with. And I'm not saying each of your relationships are going to be perfect. I'm just saying invest in the friends that make sure you constantly feel like you don't have a bad moment with them. This is the time when I shout out my friends Destiny, who was on the episode All About Me. And she hasn't been on one, unfortunately, but I'm going to get her ass. My friend Essence. These are two people that I can say, without a doubt, I have never had a negative moment with. It took a little bit of time, but once I got good in with them, fortified, locked in, nothing but best giggles, best happiness, good experiences, good vibes all around. That all being said, thank you for listening as always, and thank you for allowing me to be myself. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, y'all.